If you've been in an emotionally destructive relationship, you might be wondering why everything feels so difficult. I mean, aren't men supposed to be simple? Let's unpack this myth and shine some light on the truth. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to be notified every time I post a new video. I'm Coach Ketra. I'm a nationally certified recovery coach, and I help women find empowerment and healing from their past traumas so they can become their own hero. I have survived emotional abuse, betrayal, and a divorce after a 17-year marriage. So let's do this together. Today I'm filming on my front porch, and even though it's a little bit chilly out here, it's a beautiful day, and it's hard to find space inside while all the kids are homeschooling during COVID. So here I am outside. I'm sorry if there's any weird background noise. We'll do the best we can. So first of all, why do so many people say that men are so simple? People, and especially men, like to act like they are just so easy to please. I mean, give them sex, give them food, and they're fine, right? Wrong. This is total bullshit. This mentality wants to act like it's up to women to satisfy a man. The truth is, in a healthy relationship, both parties are emotionally, mentally, and physically present and supportive and respectful of one another. It's mutual. It's a mutual relationship, not a one-sided one that's requiring this person's happiness to be dependent on what the other person does for them. And let's be honest, nobody can create a safe, emotional environment inside a relationship when one person is doing all of the giving. It just doesn't happen. For generations, men have perpetuated this false narrative. And they do it just so that we will continue to enable them to stay immature and entitled, because that's pretty beneficial to them. They're getting without having to give. Have you ever had to gush over a guy? Make sure his dinner's ready on time, make sure that he gets to have sex whenever he wants to. But the reality about that is that you're doing it because you're walking on eggshells and you're desperately trying to avoid a fight. You don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, not have something done on time because it just might trigger an argument, because those arguments are completely unpredictable and you don't know when they're going to happen. And so you're walking on eggshells trying to avoid a fight. And by doing it, you're managing their emotions for them, or you're trying to. This kind of oversimplified teaching has been around for way too long, especially in churches, where they perpetuate this idea that if the man isn't happy, somehow it's the woman who wasn't doing her job. And then the people that build this narrative also create a narrative about women being complicated and needy and crazy, and they make them sound like they're just out of their mind if they don't go along with this narrative. If you ask me, in general, I think women are actually far more simple because they tend to be more direct about their feelings, and they're easier to understand because they don't use control over tactics as much. I mean, some women do use them, it's true, but it's not as prevalent. But that's totally a topic for another day. So on to my second point, the truth about the controlling man and his weird ways. He has likely had his own childhood traumas, issues, and social grooming from society that has helped contribute to his belief system and his behavior. As a child, he may have been neglected or been in some kind of enmeshment relationship with his parents, but either way, the outcome was that he became an entitled and self-serving adult. And you cannot reason with this. His little imaginary world has a justification for every single one of his actions, so he refuses to hear what you're trying to tell him about his behavior. This means that no amount of explaining or over-explaining will ever convince him that he is in the wrong. He literally believes his own lies and feels that he has every right to be this way. One minute he's nice, and the next minute he's criticizing you for expressing an opinion that he didn't agree with. One minute, he can be really clingy, and the next minute, totally stonewalling you. You might ask yourself, what in the actual hell is going on? There's nothing simple about this behavior. You cannot please a selfish, controlling man. He is never satisfied. There is such a desire for attachment and a fear of it at the same time that there is a constant push and pull. And let me just say, attachment is not love. It is the need to be attached that we have since birth, because attachment means that we're safe and taken care of. And men who behave this way have two opposite things going on. They want to be attached and they're terrified of it. So they will criticize you and then turn around and love bomb you and then stonewall you, and it feels crazy. I talk a little more about the controlling man and what that looks like in my video titled Feeling Emotionally Neglected in Marriage. So what can you do? That brings me to my third point. Stop enabling him. No more mommying. Men like this are similar to a 3-year-old child. They will do whatever people let them get away with. So what if we stop picking up the slack for them? What if we stop over-functioning in order to make our little worlds look perfect or to self-protect? What if we stop walking on eggshells just to appease them and avoid confrontation? At that point, we will really see the reality of their childish selves come out and throw a temper tantrum in an adult body. It is not pretty. Their little puffed up selves will start to roar, and they will really show all of their undisciplined thoughts that they've been harboring in their head come pouring out as indignant behavior and entitlement. And I can't say this without mentioning the fact that when you do something like this, they will make you pay a price. You will suffer the consequences of their fit throwing. And you need to use discernment and judgment around that, because each situation is different. But sadly, this is the only way to show him his reality, if he's willing to look at it, and to show you the reality. Because you sometimes might be thinking, oh, it's going to get better. And he's really not that way, because sometimes he's nice. But this will show you the true ugliness of the person that you're dealing with, and hopefully help strengthen you to know that you're doing the right thing and that you don't have to be subservient to avoid a conflict. It's not worth it to keep him in his entitlement. I know it sounds really hard, and I know you have probably tried this before. And that's where it's important to get strategic help and coaching through this process, so that once you do this, you've actually addressed your core beliefs and your past traumas to a point that you now feel strong and have clarity about what you're doing, so that it doesn't just make more craziness. Your self-worth needs to be solid so that you can get your life back. If you're interested in finding freedom from this inner pain and turmoil, please check out my coaching link in the description for all the details. I have designed an intensive and specific 8-week program that addresses all of these issues. You get the benefits of all of the pre-recorded and prepared online program work and one-on-one coaching with me. Because doing things alone, like a self-help book or just an online program without one-on-one coaching, doesn't get you very far. Clarity work needs to be done with someone else that can give you insight. And that is what makes this program so incredibly unique. Again, please be sure to hit like, subscribe, and comment below if you'd like me to cover a topic that you have not seen covered yet. And until next time, curate a life by your own design.